As Americans deal with inflation, credit card companies are figuring out new ways to tap into more debt. My name's Eric. This is above my pay grade. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone out there. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for watching the video. Before I get into it, if you don't mind giving it a like and a comment down below, that really helps me out. Spreading this message to people, hopefully warning them if they care to listen. So as I said in the title of the video, credit card companies and banks are figuring out new ways to give you loans. And credit card debt in Q1 of 2022 is nearly reaching an all-time high. Now, here's the problem, among other things. I'm not anti-credit card, but credit cards rely on bad behavior. They rely on it. So they make money when you don't pay your payment. And then the interest rate goes to 16%. People make the minimum payment. We all know this. This is simple stuff. But they're finding out new ways to expand the money supply. And this is part of the system we're in. The system we're in is more money to pay off old money and to keep expanding the money supply. Whether the Federal Reserve or the Treasury is doing it or not, in the consumer world, that has to happen as well. People have to keep consuming. So, you guys have probably shopped online and seen things like Afterpay or Klarna. It's like, hey, you can buy this lamp now, or you can make 4 payments of $15. And to me, I look at that and I was like, okay, so who can't afford a $60 lamp? But if you can't afford it right then, what happens if you don't make the 4th payment? You have a very large interest rate. And so people are tapping into these kind of payment plans where you can buy now and pay later, and it's expanding their debt burden. And people use this kind of stuff all the time. And if you look at credit card numbers in Q1 of 2022, you see that people are using credit cards for their basic necessities. In the United States is 70% consumer. 70%. That's like our economy, is we just buy stuff. We don't produce anything. And something to keep in mind about this, and economists have warned about this type of economy. The reason we are a consumer economy is because we have the world reserve currency. Because other countries need our money, aka dollars. And so we are able to export all of our manufacturing, or as in offshore rather. And then so we import things that we consume. So United States, for our economy to grow, people have to keep consuming. And that doesn't mean buying things you need. It's buying wants and Prada stuff and things that people don't need. But in order for our economy to grow, people have to keep consuming. So this mechanism of more debt and buy now, pay later and different credit cards continues to happen. And so it's not a surprise. But what economists warn is, if this debt bubble finally bursts with the United States and with other countries are in a better position, because at the end of the day, if we have a kind of a debt jubilee, if you will, we're going to go back to some kind of sound money system. If we ever do, the United States is going to be in trouble. Why? Because we don't produce anything. So we're going to have to import everything still without the power of the world reserve currency. So we're going to be buying things at a very expensive price. In the 50s, we used to export quite a bit of stuff. But if you're wondering why all our manufacturing jobs have gone offshore, it's because we have to export dollars, because the world needs dollars, because we have the world reserve currency. And how are we going to export dollars without a trade deficit? Does that make sense? So we have to keep sending dollars out to people who need them in order for them to be dependent on the world reserve currency. So what we do is import goods and export dollars. So that gives us some power. But what happens when that system doesn't exist anymore? Who's in a better position? The people that export goods or export a green piece of paper? I think we all know the answer to that. And so hopefully there's a shift in this this way of thinking of, hey, we'll just consume our way to prosperity. But in the world of economics, that doesn't work long term. You can't consume without producing. You just can't do it. So the United States has been doing that for a long time. And so what this mechanism looks like on a consumer scale in the United States is people are continually able to expand their purchasing power without producing more. And if you think about that on a consumer scale, you know that doesn't work long term in your own life. You can't just keep buying more and more stuff and consuming on credit without producing more, because eventually somebody's going to call your bluff and you're going to have to declare bankruptcy or not have a line of credit anymore. So why I wanted to make this video is this domino effect of people taking on more debt and the Federal Reserve raising interest rates is going to end badly. We all know this. Why? Because the people who are carrying a credit card balance, according to LendingTree, that's 41% of people who have credit card debt, carry a balance from one month to the next. And now that interest payment on credit cards is going up. So think about that person in your life that does not pay off their credit cards. Usually they're paycheck to paycheck, and just the slightest little hiccup or raise in interest rates is going to be detrimental to them. So they're going to have to take on more credit. And the mechanism in this society is, where else can you tap into to credit? What else could you lend against? And this was the kicker for me. I got this in the mail. I don't know if you guys can see this. It is a Avon credit card. An Avon Visa is the world's first credit card backed by home equity. How creative. It's unbelievable. You're going to be able to borrow against your kidneys soon. Okay, you don't need both. You only need one. So, hey, you can borrow against it, but if you don't make the payment, we're going to have to go in there and take it and sell it on the black market. But borrowing against your home equity, I'm sure there's some kind of strategery to this with real estate investors, but who do you think they're going for with this credit card? People that are up against the ropes and need to tap into the money they have somewhere. And guess what? Interest rates have gone up, so they can't refinance. Not to worry, now you can take out a credit card against your home equity. It's insane. But this is the system we're in. The system has to be fed by more debt in order to grow. And so if you think that the Federal Reserve is not going to reverse course in order for this fiat Ponzi scheme, and think about a Ponzi scheme, we all know what those are, but that's what the fiat system is you have to take on another investor in order for these investors to be paid back. And that's what our debt system is based off of. More and more debt. And the Ponzi scheme eventually fails if you don't take on more debt. So rest assured that will continue to happen until it fails. That's the mechanism that makes it work and has made it work. So I'm concerned, and even if you're not a person that has credit, I have credit cards, I pay them off every month. I don't buy many things on a debit card. I buy most everything on a credit card, but I pay it off. But credit card companies rely on people that are irresponsible. And now they're finding more and more creative ways, like buy now and pay later, or this Avon card where you can tap into your home equity to get people further in debt, to keep this Ponzi scheme going. And it's sad, but eventually these borrowers are going to reach the end of the line, meaning they're going to get a new credit card, interest rate's going to go up, they got to get another credit card to pay off this credit card, and eventually their credit score is going to get hit somehow, and they won't be able to borrow anymore. And that's what happened in 2008 with home equity, they were able to refinance and use their home as a piggy bank until interest rates went up on their adjustable rate mortgage. And then the game of musical chairs ended. And what happens when the game of musical chairs ends with consumer debt for the individual? Because it hasn't ended yet. And as inflation continues, that will end, because even still with banks like Avon, and they have a profit and loss statement. They have to make money. So they can't loan money to the majority of their borrowers can't be declaring bankruptcy. So eventually they're going to have to make cost-benefit analysis and start cutting people off from more credit. And what happens then to our economy that's based off 70% consumption from not producing? Not good in my opinion, but it is an opportunity for those people who are prudent with money, because you know what prices are going to do then? Way down. So let me know what you guys think of this. I think this is predatory lending 101. But just like a credit card, I use a credit card and I get the points and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not their desired customer. And the same thing goes with this card. Their desired customer is not somebody who uses it and pays it off. Their desired customer is somebody who has really horrible spending habits. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. If you could leave a like and a comment, I'll see you guys in the next one.